My 6-year-old niece called at midnight. "Aunt Natalie, please, help me." They locked me in. I'm really hungry. I'm scared. Her guardians, my parents, spent the checks on themselves and left her in a dark closet. I didn't scream. I did this. The next day, their lies began to fall apart. The voice on the phone was so thin and shaky, it sounded like a shadow calling, stuck somewhere between a life and a nightmare. Static hissed. The line died. I stared at the screen like I didn't believe what I'd just heard. It was after midnight, that deep kind of quiet where you can hear the clock through the wall. Adam was already asleep after his shift. My son Noah was breathing softly in his room. Rain streaked the windows, long, gloomy lines of water. The vent in the attic moaned like it was warning me, this night won't be normal. I called back. Long rings. No answer. My heart thudded. Fingers trembled. In my mind flashed Lizzie, my 6-year-old niece. Big eyes, soft curls, her stuffed bear always tucked under her arm, my younger brother Ian's daughter. Ever since he went to get treatment, Lizzie had been living with our parents, Gloria and Walt, 3 hours north. They'd set up kinship guardianship, collected state checks for her care, and told everyone, "She's fine." "We're taking great care of her," I called their landline. Nothing. Gloria's cell rings to nowhere. Walt's out of service. I snapped, grabbed my jacket and keys, leaned into the bedroom door. "Lizzie called," I said to Adam. "She said she's locked in." "She's hungry. I'm going." Adam pushed up on an elbow, sleepy, alert. "Nate, maybe you misheard?" "Call again." "Thunderstorm kid." "No, I know her voice. Stay with Noah." 5 minutes later, I was on the highway, wipers fighting sheets of rain. Blacktop shone like wet glass. In my chest, a metronome. Locked in, hungry, scared. I tried to tell myself my parents wouldn't do this. Yes, there were signs. Lizzie had gotten thin, quiet, small in the way kids can fold inward. She said they rarely let her out to the yard, but Gloria would smile. "She's picky. Doesn't eat. She's delicate. We've got it." Walt would add, "We know how to raise a kid." "You're busy. Work, family." And I backed off. Work weeks, school emails, bills, great excuses. That night my excuses expired. When the street finally appeared, their house was drowned in dark. Not one light. I jumped out. Rain soaked my jacket in seconds. "Mom! Dad!" I pounded the door. "Open up!" "Where's Lizzie?" Silence. Thunder. Rain beating the awning. I circled the house, tried every window. Locked. My shoe hit a rock in the wet grass. I picked it up. One hard swing into the side door glass. Shatter. Damp wood and old house smell hit my face as I slipped inside. I flicked the switch. Black. Power off. Or someone cut it. The phone flashlight shook in my hand. The beam slid down the living room walls, across the rug, over the old sofa. Everything felt dead. No creaks, no sighs. "Lizzie!" My voice cracked. "It's Auntie." "Where are you?" No answer. The kitchen. Empty. Hall. Shadows. I climbed the stairs and heard it. A small sob at the end of the hall. The old closet. Tiny room they used as a storage space. "Lizzie?" I threw my shoulder into the door. The lock held. I kicked. Again. Crack. The latch gave. My flashlight caught a little shape curled on the floor. Lizzie, knees to chest, thin pajama top, bare clamped to her chest. Hollow cheeks, dark crescents under her eyes. On the floor, crumbs of stale bread and an empty plastic bottle. "Auntie, you came," she whispered. I scooped her up. She was weightless, skin cold, body shaking. "It's okay, baby. It's okay." I'm here, I said. No one is going to hurt you again. The thought that my own parents had locked their granddaughter in a closet burned through me like a hot nail. I shoved it down. Kid first. I took off my jacket, wrapped her up, carried her out, settled her in the back seat, pulled a blanket from the trunk. Don't take me back to them, please. She scratched out the words like a cat clawing a door. No one is taking you anywhere, I said, steady. We're going to the hospital. After that, everything will be different. I promise. I started the engine, swung onto the road, and dialed 911. I told the dispatcher exactly what happened. They patched me to the nearest ER and said they'd notify CPS. I read the hospital address off the nav screen, pushed the gas. Lizzie lay in the ER, IV in her arm, pale face, eyes closed, a hand too small inside mine. The doctor, young, calm, badge that read Dr. Patel, didn't sugarcoat it. Severe malnutrition and dehydration, she said. But the prognosis is good if we refeed slowly, keep her safe, and get a therapist on board. Labs are running. We've notified CPS. She'll be admitted overnight. I nodded while anger boiled under my ribs. Yesterday, I'd still believed the pies and care stories. Now, I saw the hole under the words. Outrage wasn't enough. Without evidence, I could be called hysterical, and Lizzie could be sent back. I needed proof. When she fell asleep, I drove back. Rain had died. Streets were empty. The house was darker than a shadow. I slipped through the broken side door and went straight to Dad's desk in the living room. Top drawer. Always papers. And there they were, a stack of bank statements. Monthly kinship care deposits followed by quick cash withdrawals and big retail charges. Restaurants. Electronics. Vacation. Not one mention of pediatric meds, vitamins, orthopedics, doctor's visits. I photographed every month. My hands shook now from anger. Gloria's closet. New furs and designer bags. Shelf. Luxe brand boxes, glossy logos, dated receipts. I shot everything. Clear angles, labels, dates. But statements and photos weren't enough. I needed witnesses. I shut the door and crossed the fence line to the neighbors, Valerie and Tom Wilkins. Knocked. Curtain flickered. A crack in the door. Natalie? It's late. What happened? Valerie looked like she'd been waiting years to tell this. I kept it short. Found Lizzie locked in. Hospital. I'm gathering information. Valerie let out a long breath. I've heard and seen things, she said. Nights where the little one cried. Sometimes knocked and called out, I want something to eat. I brought cookies. Gloria wouldn't let me in. Said don't spoil her. Walt yelled at me once. Mind your own business. She hesitated. And sometimes they'd go out to visit and leave her alone. Lights off. Door locked. Would you give a written statement? I asked. For Lizzie. Anything, she said. We drafted a witness declaration together. Address, dates, what she heard, what she tried. Valerie signed. Tom, now awake, added his line. He'd seen Lizzie sitting in their car in the driveway while the adults were in the house. And lights dimmed when people walked by. Next morning, I called the local school. The principal paused. She's on our rolls, he said. But in reality, she wasn't attending. Over 80% absences. During the COVID years, we were lenient. But after that, her mother, your mother, kept saying she was sick and that online was enough. I'll need an official attendance report and contact for her teacher, I said. Of course. And thank you for stepping in, he said quietly. We had concerns, but without access, we couldn't get in. I hung up. CPS called right then. The caseworker asked methodical questions. When, what, who. I answered like I'd studied for it. One thought looped in my head. How did we get to a night where a child whispers, I'm locked in? And I didn't believe it sooner? To answer that, I had to roll the tape back. Years back. To where every missed step had a name. I have a younger brother, Ian, only 5 years behind me, but somehow he was always the baby to protect. Our parents treated us differently from the beginning. If I was the reliable one, the workhorse, the kid who figures it out, then Ian was the talent, the hope, the future. He finished college as an engineer, married a quiet, warm girl named Marina. They had Lizzie. I remember the first time I held her, warm curl of a person with big eyes already taking in the world. I thought, okay, this is going to be fine. Life has a way of finding the thin place. One fall evening, Marina and Lizzie were driving back from the store. A drunk driver plowed into them on the highway. Marina died at the scene. Lizzie came away with scrapes and bruises and a miracle. Ian collapsed. I went with him to handle arrangements. He sat white on a bench, mouth trembling, whispering, "Why her? Why not me?" He tried at first, kept working, got up with Lizzie, promised whatever it takes. Then wine to sleep, then a bottle, then pills, so it won't hurt. His doctor prescribed antidepressants. Ian took them by the handful. I called, drove over, begged, "She needs you." "You're her only parent." He nodded, promised, and relapsed the next day. When Lizzie was 3, I showed up without warning. The apartment was a storm. Empty bottles, dishes stacked in the sink, the smell of stale air. Lizzie sat on the floor with her bear, whispering, "Daddy sleeps all the time." I pulled Ian outside and said it hard. "You can't. If you keep this up, I'll take her," he cried. "I don't want to live without her." But I feel dead inside. Not long after, Gloria called after midnight. "Ian left Lizzie with us and left." He wrote a note. "I need treatment. Please care for my daughter. I'll come back when I can handle it." I drove over at once. Lizzie stood on the porch with her bear, scared eyes, trembling mouth. "Where's Daddy?" I didn't have words. I hugged her. Gloria was sure of herself. "We'll set up guardianship. The state helps. There'll be checks. We have time. You're busy. Work, a kid, bills." I believed them. Helped with the paperwork. They got the official status quickly. Monthly kinship payments hit their account. Gloria kept saying, "It all goes to food and clothes." At first, everything looked normal. I visited. Lizzie played in the yard. Gloria baked. Walt told stories about how well we're all doing. Noah and Lizzie chased each other until the sky went purple. Then I started to see. Lizzie getting thinner, paler, quieter. Her hand always on her bear, eyes always tracking the door. I asked, "She looks not great. Have you taken her to the doctor?" "She eats fine." Gloria waved me off. "She's picky. Soup one day, meat the next. She makes things up. Her stomach's weak," Walt added. "We've got it," I said. "Let her stay with us a week. Change of scenery. Noah will play with her." They cut me off. "No changes. She's used to us. You've got work. You can't handle it." On another visit, I noticed Gloria's new fur coat and Walt's latest phone. A giant TV had appeared in the living room. That day, Lizzie whispered, "Aunt Nate, I want to live with you." I didn't confront. I told myself, they're tired. Maybe I'm overreacting. Work, a kid, bills, all the steps on the staircase down to self-comfort. Now, looking back, I know I could have saved her sooner. I chose the convenient version of the story. That version collapsed the night a 6-year-old whispered into a phone, "I'm locked in. I'm hungry. I'm scared." And I finally woke up. By morning, Lizzie moved from ER to the pediatric unit. Dr. Patel mapped meals. CPS did an initial interview and placed Lizzie under temporary protective custody. I sat by her bed, held her small hand, and thought, anger isn't a plan. Build a system. I drove back to the house again. this time with a lawful access order signed off by a sheriff's deputy who'd been looped in by CPS. No one could say I'd broken in. I gathered statements and checks, photographed the luxury in Gloria's closet, returned to Valerie and Tom. They signed declarations. The school emailed the official attendance report and a request to meet the CPS worker. While I was sorting files, my phone lit up. "Where is Lizzie?" "Gloria." I didn't reply. A minute later, "You ruined everything." Silence after that. I stared at the screen and knew there was no road back. Ahead, hospital, paper, CPS, county court. And somewhere in that future, Ian, my brother, post-rehab, who once wrote, "I'll come back when I can handle it." Back at Lizzie's bedside, I tucked her blanket around her. The nurse had put a little bracelet with her name and a tiny heart on the tray, so she doesn't feel alone. I whispered into the quiet, "It's going to be different now." I promise below is the second half of your story in the same YouTube-friendly American voice and pacing as part 1 to 4. I kept the first-person point of view, all U.S. details, and your plot beats with short lines and clear momentum for narration. The homeroom teacher confirmed everything I was afraid to hear. Lizzie came at the start of the year. Then the absences rolled in like a belt of storm clouds. Gloria called to say she's sick, but never brought a doctor's note. The report showed 90% plus absent. "We sent official notices." We called. No one responded. The teacher said, "She's a quiet, withdrawn child." We were worried, but they never let us in. I asked for the attendance printout, the letters, and the contact log. An hour later, my inbox pinged. Back at the hospital, I sat by Lizzie's bed and said, "Listen, baby. I'm going to get everything we need. You're not going back there." She opened her eyes. "Promise?" "I swear." I knew I couldn't do this alone. I needed an attorney. Adam gave me the number of a family law lawyer he knew, Rebecca Stein. I showed up with a stack. Photos of statements, pictures of Gloria's luxury, signed neighbor declarations, school reports, Dr. Patel's note, the first CPS report. Rebecca read in silence. The deeper she went, the tighter her face got. "This is classic neglect and abuse of guardianship," she said. "Misuse of funds. Leaving a child unattended. Starving her. With this evidence, we can petition the court to transfer guardianship to you as a kinship caregiver. But be ready. There will be a fight. Not for love of the child. For money and pride." Something pulled tight inside my chest. A war with my parents? 6 months ago, I would have said that sentence couldn't exist, but on the other side of the scale was a child's life. At home, Adam waited in the kitchen with a mug of tea. "Well?" he asked. "We're going to court," I said. "We've got evidence." He wrapped me in his arms. "You're doing the right thing." Lizzie should live with us. In that moment, I felt, maybe for the first time, that we were a family. Not just me and Noah, but this small, skinny girl with the curls spread across her pillow in the next ward. The court date landed 1 month out. Weeks stretched like taffy. By day, work and lawyer. By evening, hospital. Late, emails with CPS, the school, neighbors. Lizzie slowly lit back up. Care, a meal plan, vitamins. Color crept back into her cheeks, but her eyes still grabbed my hand sometimes. "Aunt Nate, what if they come and take me?" "They won't," I said, smoothing her hair. "I promise." When my parents learned I'd filed, the phones flared. Gloria first, voice tuned to the frequency of wounded martyr. "Natalie, what are you doing?" "This is a disgrace to the family. People will think we're monsters. Lizzie was sick. That's why she got thin." I stayed quiet, then said, "She was locked in a closet. With no food." "Is that a sickness to you?" Gloria sputtered. "Don't make things up." You misunderstood everything. The next day, Walt called. Metal voice. If you don't withdraw the petition, you don't have parents. You're out. So be it, I said. I have a child now. She needs protection. They stopped calling after that, but I knew. They'd make war in the courtroom. Rebecca walked in with me. My hands were damp. Heart, a drum. Across the aisle, Gloria and Walt. Sharp suits, fresh lawyer. Gloria with a handkerchief. Walt with a stare like a padlock. The judge, mid-50s, alert eyes. Judge Martinez. Dr. Patel testified first. This child shows chronic malnutrition, she said. Long-term deprivation, lack of appropriate medical care. You don't get this in a week or a month. It's systematic. The parent's lawyer tried the picky eater route. Maybe the child refused to eat. Some kids are just particular. Dr. Patel shook her head. This isn't about tastes. It's deficit. It's in the labs. It's in her body. Then Valerie Wilkins took the stand. She trembled but spoke clean. I heard the little girl cry at night. I saw the house locked while the grandparents went out. I tried to bring food. They refused me. Gloria rolled her eyes and muttered, "Old gossip." Last came the teacher with attendance records and letters. Over 90% of school days missed. No medical documents. No clear explanations. We sent official notices. No replies. I looked at my parents and waited for even a flicker of remorse. Walt's face stayed stone. Gloria dabbed like she was on stage. When it was my turn, I stood. Your Honor, I don't want to take away the titles of grandmother and grandfather, I said, but I have to save this child. Lizzie was hungry. She was locked in. She was denied school and doctors. I'm prepared to take full responsibility. I have a job, a home, a husband, a son. I'm asking you to give her a chance at a normal childhood. Then they spoke. Gloria cried. We love our granddaughter. She's just sick a lot. That's why she missed school. Walt's tone was hard. This is Natalie's storytelling. She wants the child for the money. Judge Martinez listened without commentary, but her face told me enough. They hadn't helped themselves. After the recess, she came back and read. Given the evidence, medical findings, and witness statements, the court transfers guardianship of minor Elizabeth Harper to her aunt, Natalie Wells, as a kinship caregiver. Guardians. Gloria Harper and Walt Harper are stripped of all kinship payments and granted limited, supervised contact only, subject to CPS approval, effective immediately. Silence. Gloria cried out, How could you? She's our granddaughter. Walt stood, voice low. From this day, you are no daughter of ours. I looked at them and said softly, And I am a parent to your granddaughter. I walked out. My legs shook. My chest opened. Lizzie was safe. At home, Adam met me with a long hug. Noah shot out of his room. Mom! Is Lizzie going to live with us now? Yes, I said. She's ours now. That night I slept for the first time in a long time. Somewhere inside, a cut still hurt. I'd lost my parents. 2 parts of my life ran into each other, and one fell down. But there hadn't been a choice. After court, I brought Lizzie home. Outside, bright sun. Inside me, like stepping out of a long tunnel. Adam set the table. Noah dragged a big box of toys from his room. Lizzie, this is yours too, he said. She smiled like she wanted to believe and didn't know how yet. The first nights were rough. She woke up crying, gripping her bear. Auntie, what if they come and lock me again? I sat next to her and stroked her hair. No one is going to touch you, I said. We're your family. Adam was an anchor. He made simple soups and fresh cookies, Lizzie's safe food, alternating with apples and warm milk. Color found her cheeks. Her eyes got brighter. I scheduled a child therapist. The first sessions were tough, Silence, shakes, small nods. Then one day she said, "I thought it was my fault. I thought I did everything wrong." The therapist said gently, "It wasn't you. It was the adults who didn't protect you." That was the start of her healing. A month later, Lizzie started school with Noah. On day one, she squeezed my hand so tight my fingers ached. "What if they yell at me there?" "They won't," I told her. "Your teacher is kind. And Noah is right there." True. Ms. Lawson took her under a wing. Noah puffed up and introduced her to the class. "This is my cousin." I've got her back. Little by little, Lizzie unfolded. Markers on paper, bright houses, wild birds, reading out loud, tripping, laughing, joining giggles instead of watching from the wall. Every small step felt like a quiet miracle. At home, we did everything together. Books at night, parks and pancakes on weekends. Sometimes I'd catch myself thinking, 2 kids, not a son and a niece, 2 children Adam and I were raising. One evening, Lizzie hugged me without warning and whispered, "You're like a mom to me." "Can I call you Mama Nat?" My heart jerked. I nodded, scared of my own voice. It stuck. Tia Natalie turned into Mama Nat more and more. Years went by. Lizzie got strong, shoulders back, laugh louder than Noah. But the past knows how to find the door. One spring, my phone lit up with an unknown number. The voice, rough, familiar. "Natalie, it's me, Ian." I froze. My brother. I hadn't heard him in 5 years. "Where are you?" "In town." "Can I see you?" We set a time. At home, I told Adam. He exhaled. God, maybe he's ready. "Who is it?" Lizzie stood in the doorway, eyes wide. "It's your dad," I said. "He wants to see you." An hour later, the bell rang. A man on our porch, tired face, gray at the temples. But his eyes were clear. He stepped inside, saw Lizzie, and dropped to his knees. "Baby, I'm sorry." I was weak. I ran. I spent this time getting sober. I fought. I came back to you. Lizzie stared. 1 second. 2. Then she stepped. And another. And threw her arms around him. "Daddy!" Both of them cried. I stood there with a strange warmth rising in my chest, a mix of old hurt and new joy. We talked a long time. Ian told us about rehab, therapy, a job in another city, a small business, a 12-step group. He was clean. He was steady. He wanted to be a father. "I know Lizzie has been your daughter all this time," he told me. "I won't break what you built. I just want to be near her if she'll let me." We spoke with Lizzie alone. She drew a house with windows, thought a while, and said, "I have 2 parents now. Mama Nat and Daddy Ian. I don't want to lose either." We agreed. She had the right to that. Months passed. Lizzie lived with us and saw Ian often. They walked in the park, went to the circus, sketched in the sun. She no longer feared the dark or woke up yelling. One hot evening, we sat out back. Adam flipped steaks on the grill. Noah kicked a ball around. Lizzie drew a house and wrote on the roof, "People who love me live here." I stared at that drawing and understood. This is what the fight was for. The court, the loss, the sleepless nights. Because a real family isn't the people collecting checks and performing caring. It's the people who show up every day to protect, feed, hold, and love. I hugged Adam, looked at our kids, and said quietly, "We're going to be okay." And for the first time in years, I believed it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your thoughts. See you in the next video.